Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Training Blueprint. Today on episode 2, we're talking about nutrition and unpacking some of the faults, flaws, misconceptions that clients do come to LTL with and struggle with the most. Me and Dee spent some time last week unpacking some of these, and so I'm going to segue into her unpacking a couple of the problems and issues that clients come to us with the most. So let's go.
All right. So some of the flaws that we see when women come to us with their nutrition. The first one is under eating. A lot of women, and if you are wanting to lose weight and have struggled with that, a big one is actually under eating. So under eating and malnourished, you're not getting your protein, you're not getting your carb, fats, like malnourished in your nutrition, as well as under eating, snacking, binging. Again, that's like a result, isn't it?
It's all 3 in 1.
Yeah, 3 in 1. Lack of protein, processed foods, packaged garbage.
Yep. We're trying to find another word for SHIT. So we're like, what is some more professional ways to say it than that?
Yeah.
Keep going, sorry.
Garbage. We've got sugar-free, low-fat kind of junk type foods that are fake. Calorie-only mindset. Fasting, lack of preparation, and also lack of knowledge. So there's, with social media as well, there's such a massive
Gap.
gap. Like there's, with what influencers put out there, or just general information, there's so much, this is good, or no, this is actually bad, or do this or do that. So there's a massive gap, and they're confused when they come to us because there's just so much out there, and they just don't know where
to even start.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to figuring out nutrition, it is really challenging because, like Dee said, there is a lot of different ways to skin a cat. That's always the case with no matter what it is that you do, whether it is training or nutrition, like following a plan or starting at a new job. There's always going to be a different way to skin the cat. However, there are better ways for everyone to get towards their goals, and there are better ways for everyone to maybe just decompress the confusion in nutrition. Maybe not even decompress, just declutter it. So, maybe let's hone in on a couple of these. We were talking about some solutions. So, usually in our episodes, we'll talk about some problems that we see, and we like to have some solutions for everyone to take away. I would like to preface that there are general solutions. Everyone's case is different. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's environment, family, social interactions, whatever. They're all different. So, take it with a grain of salt, no matter what it is, whether it's this podcast, somebody else's podcast, an influencer's advice, your mums, your dads, your brothers, your sisters, your auntie. Take everything with a grain of salt, but you need to do your own due diligence and learn about what it is for you. There is better ways, and there is always a science, and science doesn't lead you astray, especially when it is nutrition. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. And I would like to blanket statement, it's not that hard. But it's just you understanding yourself and your body. That is probably the hardest part. Proteins are protein, carbs are carb, fats are fat. There's nothing else in there, right? But you do have things that have compounds of all 3 of them. Still doesn't make it, there will always be one that's more protein, more fat, more carb. Anyway, so without getting off track, I think let's talk about some solutions. So what is some advice we have for clients who are under eating, malnourished, or snacking a lot, Dee?
So the first things first is look at a day on your plate. So are you eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Is there some snacks in there? Or maybe are you not? Are you fasting and then you're eating at lunch? You're starting at 1 p.m. and then you realize you're snacking at night. So look at your day on a plate and what is it that you're actually eating, the timings between the meals as well, and the quality of what you're actually eating. Are you eating the right types of carbs that are going to give you sufficient energy, or is it carbs that are making you feel sluggish? Are you actually getting enough protein? Type of protein are you having? Are you also having healthy fats? Healthy fats for women is super important for our hormones as well. So are you actually eating any fats, because that's a big thing as well, actually.
Yep.
Women think fats is equal to putting on fat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love some of the solutions that you said. Have a look at a day on a plate, prepare, and also look at the protein and quality of food you're having. These will probably translate into most of the other problems that we see with clients. First off, meal timing. You probably are not eating as frequently as you need to be. And look, if you struggle to eat in the morning, okay, fine. But let's just talk about some science here. So the first 60 minutes of waking, whatever you have, if it's protein, 30 grams of protein will go straight to your immune system. If you're not having protein, then your immune system is not lubricated with protein. So the first 30 grams of protein you eat in the morning go straight to your immune system, and that's usually between waking of 0 to 60 minutes. So you do want to have something, whether it's a protein shake, whether it is an egg. You probably need to have a couple eggs to meet 30 grams of protein there. Yogurt with some extra protein powder, whatever it might be, you do want to lubricate your immune system with protein, because it is going to protect you against any pro-inflammatory things like people being sick around you. And also it'll taper you off into your next part of your day much better. So let's say you don't eat in the morning. What is the next thing that happens? When you don't eat in the morning, you wait till break time at work, 12 o'clock, 10:30, 1 o'clock, you snack on some cheese and crackers, maybe you snack on a sandwich, maybe you actually have a proper meal, maybe you actually go, okay, I'm going to have some eggs on toast and some mushroom tomato. Let's say you do that. Okay, cool. And if you are following through with some smaller meals after that, maybe it does work for you. Okay, let's just say it does. But for those of you who doesn't, because majority of people we see, it doesn't work that way, you end up snacking and binging more frequently, then you do want to consider maybe changing the meal times. All right. What was the other thing we said before about meal timing, lack of protein, type of protein, day on a plate? I think that, snacking and binging actually. Maybe let's talk about that. What are some things that you see with a lot of the binge eaters that come into the doors here at LTL?
It honestly comes back to under-eating and lack of preparation. So just like Raquel spoke about before, you guys are busy workers. You're out, you're working, you're spending your whole day, say you're not eating in the morning, and then you're leaving it till later. When you get back home from work, you're already exhausted. You haven't nourished your body enough with meals and food, and you've had a hard day at work, you come home, you're tired, your energy's off. Anything that is in your pantry that you can just grab, you're going for it.
Yeah.
And once you go for it, like you just kind of want,
Yeah.
you want more. You want more, and it's just harder to get out of that pattern if you're constantly. What's the word we were talking about last week?
I'm not sure, but it's a ripple effect.
Yeah. The words on the tip of my tongue.
I feel
You're like rewarding that, and then it's kind of easier to.
Dopamine.
Yeah.
About dopamine. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll come back to that. What I used to do when I was a chronic binge eater, would come home from school, I would have really planned out meals of lots of fruit at school. I'd have eggs and like carrots and vegetables. I wouldn't have hardly any protein at school. And then I'd come home from school and I would be like ravenous, and just the food noise was huge. I'd come home, smack some peanut butter on bread. I'd have whatever mum was cooking times 3 plates. Like I was going crazy because my body was malnourished. What I think I've realized probably in the more recent years is that binge eating is probably a malnourished symptom. And I think not everyone has a binge eating disorder, but people do have symptoms of being malnourished and they lash out with eating more food. And you're not sure what's going on because there is so much food noise. And then if you don't stop it in its tracks and you don't understand this sooner or later, you probably will get swept up into I have a binge eating disorder and I'm stuck and I can't get out. I'm obsessed with food. So that's one thing to understand, is you may be malnourished and your body's searching for actual nutrients that are not just vegetables. You need to be having carbs, proteins, dense proteins, not just chicken. You need to have things with B12, which is red meat. And salmon. We are an advocate here for red meat, and I do think most people, most women who come to us are also low in iron, and that low iron symptom is also they have no energy. Sorry, the low iron is not a symptom. Low iron is a thing that's happening in your body, and then you get the symptom of no energy. Your performance is really crap. You might be lightheaded a lot. kale, and just like some of those things are common symptoms and that we see with clients, and they can't progress as easy, and they do struggle with sleep sometimes. So if you're not having enough B12, and especially not enough B12 from red meat, you need to find another way to supplement. And the amount of iron that you're going to get from spinach is a lot different to what you're going to get from red meat. So, make it make sense. That's how I like to think of it. There are better ways. So where was I with binge eating? Yeah.
The key thing that you were just saying there was like you actually had a day on a plate where you were eating meals, but protein lacked.
Yeah, there was no protein, there was no fats. I wasn't having any olive oils, any avocados. It was just vegetables and fruit. Vegetables, fruit, and one egg maybe at lunch.
Yeah, which is like the foundation of your meal.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was going through, an 8-hour day at school, being hungry and wanting to lose weight. I was probably like 17. I was like, I really want to lose weight. I want to change a body type. I don't like how I look. I'm just going to do fruits and vegetables and an egg. And then when I come home, I'll have dinner. But my dinner, I was having 3 plates of pasta, or 2-3 plates of serving size of chicken and rice, because I was starving. So it was just lashing out, and I wasn't, and this is, at the end of the day, this is what binge eating is that you just have this constant restrict, binge restrict, and it just repeats. So
it's like a malnourished brain or a tired brain isn't going to make the right decisions.
Yeah.
It's not just your body,
Exactly.
It's actually your brain, your functionality, decision making.
Yeah. Your brain runs off carbohydrates. Not to say that it doesn't use protein, fats as well, but it does prefer to run off glucose. So if your brain hasn't got any glucose and the right amount of glucose, think about it like this. Like if you just have lollies all day, your brain's going to be a non-focused, inability to make best decisions potentially. You might lash out, your mood's going to crash because of the insulin spike and the sudden drop. So your brain running off that kind of glucose is not necessarily the best. The better glucose is a slow release glucose, like you might find in rice or potatoes, where you've got some fiber in there, and you might pair it with some fats, where therefore the insulin spike is not as hard. So the body doesn't feel this jittery energy, and then the brain also doesn't have that erratic response either. The brain is just moving through this nice linear pattern, as opposed to this boom, 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 crash, caffeine, sugar.
Yeah.
That can also be a problem, with people who binge eat too. Yeah.
And dehydration as well.
Talk about that.
You were talking, actually, what was that fact that you were telling me?
Oh, I always forget the little minute factor, but what we know in research is that when you have a 2%, I think, or a drop in baseline hydration, there's a 2% drop in your cognitive function. Might not sound like a lot, but when you work 8 hours a day, you might have 2 kids at home, or you're the main breadwinner, you might have other responsibilities to do, maybe you like other hobbies, whatever. Let's put it all together. It's not easy to constantly function when you are dehydrated or hungry. So make sure that you are well fed and thirsted. What's the word?
Hydrated.
Well hydrated. Thank
Well
you.
thirsted.
It's a Tuesday and my brain is gone. Let's go. Well thirsted.
I'm going to use that one.
Oh no.
Well thirsted.
Yeah, make sure you're well hydrated, because it will impact on your performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us what's next. What was the next on our list? I don't remember.
Lack of preparation.
Mm.
Yeah. So again, with if you buy snacky bits and you're leaving that, in your pantry that are easy to get, there is some pre-packaged meals out there, but a lot of the ones that you can just get off the shelf, like they have garbage.
Our faces say it all. Like it's just it's average. It's an average choice.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's there for a reason.
Yeah. But also the fact that we have drive-throughs, all those things that are fast-paced that you can get, anything that is convenient, yes.
wrap your sentence up in a full sentence, because I feel like what you're saying is like in bits and pieces. Lack of preparation will lead you towards the more convenient options. Which are drive-throughs, 7-Elevens, maybe pulling off things off the shelf that are really quick and easy. There's nothing wrong with getting a quick and easy option like going to the shops and buying a frozen meal. However, just look at the ingredient list. Drive-throughs, I'd prefer if my clients were cooking their meals, or maybe choosing something that was prepped with rice and chicken. Like you can see what it is, as opposed to maybe just getting some random supermarket soup and a random drive-through chicken that's fried in canola oil and seed oils. Like that's the whole other thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely. It's not like 100%, you're gone if you go for those options. If you do and you're in a rush and you've forgotten your lunch, or you really had no time for meal prep, always look at the ingredient list.
Yeah.
But that's why preparation is super important. If you look at your week, and I know we use Google Calendar, we plan
everything,
all of our stuff.
Yeah.
I even put when I'm going to have my meals, because then it makes it so much easier for me to prep, because I know exactly what I'm prepping for. But if you look at your week and you see a gap that you can meal prep, and you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen. You don't have to have, I was literally talking about this yesterday. I hate meal prepping when I'm in the kitchen for so long, and my stovetop is like got this and this and this, and I'm in MasterChef. Like, no, that's annoying. I want it to be convenient, easy, tasty, nutritious.
Yes.
So do tray bakes, do slow cooker stuff that you can chuck it on and then go do what you need to do. And kind of get you ahead of the game.
I think that's a really good tip, because a lot of clients do also come to us going, I don't want to make a different meal every day. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in the kitchen for hours.
Yeah.
So, take it from us, neither do we. We hate it. There's already so much to do, like I said before, in a day. And especially if you have kids, I can't imagine how much extra responsibility you have. So, the most important part is that it's easy for you to do. There is going to be a little bit of give and take, where sometimes you're going to be tired, and that preparation is going to be important. So, okay, maybe you have to spend some time, a little bit extra than you'd like a certain day. But things that make it easy, I think, is making things in bulk. Like Dee said, one pot dishes, tray bake meals, slow cooked meals. Trying to make things that are in bulk as a dish can really help keep you prepared and keep you onto your goal.
Because if you think about it as well, extra little bit of preparation will save you time in the week. You don't have to cook. Like you said with, our clients who are mums and stuff, they don't want to cook so many different meals, or they're already so busy, or just, even if you don't have kids, like life is already busy. It's already a lot of things. So if you plan out that little, maybe it takes you an hour to do the week or a few days at a time, then come that day, that night, everything's already prepared. So you're kind of saving time for your future self.
You are. You save so much time by being prepared. Like, I think people think, oh my God, it's going to take me so much time on a Sunday to prep. It's like, well, not really. If you make like a one pot dish of rice and beef mince, if you make a one tray meal of potatoes and chicken, a roast chicken, and just pull apart that roast chicken, it's a kilo or 800 grams of that chicken. That can last you 8 meals. If you just pull out 100 grams of that chicken somewhere, and then a side of 100 grams of the potatoes that you make, that can be 8 meals. Same with the rice, same with the beef mince, same with whatever else it is you're cooking. Make it easier for yourself, because then you will not be searching, and you'll also save money. A lot of people say it's expensive to eat well. It's really not. It's not if you're planned and you're prepared. And we're not asking you to spend money on organic all the time, especially because that is the most expensive thing, I will say. It's like buying organic and free range stuff can be a bit more pricey, but if that's not in your budget, then still having eggs, it might not be the best, or the best, I should say, like when you're looking for eggs, you want things that you want to have the chickens have the most amount of hectares to roam free, because that means they're going to be able to absorb and eat more nutrients than a grain-fed chicken would. So you might not be able to afford the one that's the best, but at least you're still having eggs as opposed to lollies. Like, there is a comparison here that you need to understand, and like that's going to be better for you long term than just being like, I can't prepare, I can't do this, and just go to the most convenient drive-through full of seed oils, processed, packaged meals, as opposed to I'm just going to have the eggs and the beef mince that I can afford. Like, it's much better than the other options. There's a scale. I think there is a scale that we need to understand here, you know. Yeah. What else have we got? I think we've gone through heaps. Processed foods, influencers. We haven't spoke about that.
Okay, let's get to it.
Do you want to discuss this one?
All right. So, obviously, after what we've just spoken about, you probably realize we are quality here with what we're eating and what we're consuming over calories. And what I mean by that is on social media, you can hear things like technically, like theoretically or scientifically, whatever you want to use, if you were eating 2,000 calories of McDonald's and you're in a deficit window, then technically if you're working out and moving your body, you can lose weight, but that is gonna cook your gut. Like that food,
blankly.
yeah, that food is not gonna do good for your insides. If we're talking about health, like what is health to you? Is it just getting those kilos off, or is your body, your mind, everything thriving? That's health, your organs. Like, so yeah, just to put it plainly, we are big on calories over quality. Sorry,
quality over calories.
Quality over calories. Sugar-free maple syrups. I always say that one because it just it really hits home to me. We
Tell us why. Tell the audience why.
Well, in my journey of this, I did a challenge and it was a lot. Like,
so what do you mean in your journey of this?
So in my journey of fitness and health and wellness and all that kind of stuff, I participated in a challenge that was going off at the time, and I think that was probably the first time I had started tracking. Previous to that, I had lost weight untracked, and just, eating my food, that kind of stuff. But this was the first time I started to actually track. And, foods like sugar-free maple syrup was in there. I was weighing my lettuce. Yeah,
I remember when you told me that. I was like, what?
And it's not until actually I had one of my family members walk in and being like, what are you doing? What am I actually doing?
Yeah.
Right? There was bars like that were probably this size, this thick, that were full of carbs, but a sugar-free option. And they did not give me any energy. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, exactly. Eat that thing and I'm probably hungry 10 minutes later because it's not doing anything to me. So, and keeping me, in check for my day and nourished properly. So obviously, on social media, there is a lot of influencers showing you what I eat in a day and things like that. And it is easy to get swept up in what you see online and think that the sugar-free options are the better option. But in reality, if you have a very good balanced diet, you can have that real maple syrup.
I just want to interrupt. There is a part here that also we're missing. When you see influencers online who look a certain way and they promote their day on a plate and they are having sugar-free, low calorie, low fat, yada yada, how is their gut health? They will never tell you what their gut health is like unless they're hospitalized. There's so many stories of bikini models who have been hospitalized or had to have some serious gut issues or have fertility issues because they have no period. They're not talking about that. They have terrible gut motility. They're constipated. Like, their relationship with food is also distorted and skewed. So you're getting a viewpoint maybe of their best day of the week as opposed to a day on the plate that's realistic. I think you need to really keep your lens wide with social media because you just don't know what they're really sharing with you. It's a highlight reel and some of it's not even real. Like, Taylor was showing me that she could Photoshop my garage at Ladies That Lift. We have on the bottom, it's a bit of rust, and I hate that. So she's like, I can edit that out. And she just showed me how she can just edit things by just a flick of a touch. And I was like, okay, I knew retouch was there, but like, it still kept all the slats in the right place, and it put the color across. It took away the hose that was there. I was like, like,
and that looked unedited either,
yes.
didn't it?
And then there's girls on social media who also show you how they can edit their belly, their legs, their arms, their face, their jawline. So, you don't know what we're looking at. I don't know what I'm looking at sometimes. My feed is not even social fitness influencers ever, because I just don't care for it. It doesn't, I know what I'm going to get is very, very 5% of what is real.
Yeah.
So take it with a grain of salt, please.
Absolutely. And not to say at all that their content is useless or anything like that, but I actually had one of my clients say she really enjoyed watching this one particular girl's videos until she then promoted a debloat drink. And it's not just this one in particular, but it's a lot. So it makes sense as to why, like, maybe they need to delve a little bit deeper into their gut. And that's probably why they're, you don't need a debloat drink to have a flat stomach, because that's what people get swept up in. Oh, yes, I'm going to have that. I'm going to
It's
not be
deeper than
bloated.
that. It's deeper than that. People buy someone's body. When you look on social media and you see how someone's look, how good someone looks, how attractive they might be to you, you buy into that because you're like, I want to be like them. So, and that's how the world's always been, unfortunately. The old saying, sex sells. Someone's body sells, whether it's a man or a woman. What someone looks like, people are absorbed by that and get obsessed by that and then want to be that. So you need to have a much stronger filter and a much stronger boundary with yourself and social media, because it's not all real.
Yeah. And back to the quality over calories, if you probably find yourself having, even in supermarkets, like 30 grams of protein, bang, the big ones, and it's a drink that has 30 grams of protein that you're going to be hungry 10 minutes later. It's like, aren't you best just to have chicken or some kind of meat? So those kinds of things, if,
Can I just also interrupt there?
Yeah.
When you have a drink like protein powder, make sure you do have something with it that is food, because if you just drink your protein all the time, it just goes through you without actually having something like fiber, fats, or carbs that you actually can have to digest, and the stomach has to break down and do its peristalsis in the stomach and push it through. You just drink it and it just goes straight through the gastrointestinal tract. So you need to make sure that you pair it with something that is an actual food. I don't know what you call that.
something to munch.
Yeah, something to munch on and actually bite, because your stomach needs to digest it. And I would do the food first and then drink to make sure that it's actually getting paired and slowed down, like how fast it is absorbed.
Yeah.
Because liquid just goes like that. There's no peristalsis needed.
Same with the protein bars that say, 10 grams protein or this or that. Just have a look at the ingredients of things and just kind of think to yourself, do I actually need this 50 ingredient list right now?
Do you need the Muscle Nation custard, or do you just make your own?
Yeah.
Make your own like yogurt bowl at home.
I think it's like, just to kind of sum it up a little bit, I know that probably sounds a lot of information, but if you're keeping it simple, you've got your foundations, you have your quality real food, and then you can, like, if you're feeling like a custard, or if you're feeling like, ice cream or whatever it may be, like, you can have that in there. There is such thing as satisfying your heart hunger.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just always about chasing results. It's for the longevity. You want to be like this for the long term. Yep. You're not going to go your whole life without having ice cream or whatever it may be that you really enjoy. You can fit that in, so long as what you're actually having is, quality. Like,
I think it's like experimenting with the alternative in the quality lens, as opposed to like just grabbing the cheap and easy option, and like learning how to cook, learning how to mix things, learning how to make ice cream, learning how to make custard from scratch, learning how to make your own pastries. Like, yeah, it might sound like a lot, but if you really want it, okay, here and there you might buy the option. You might go to the bakery that that has really great pastries or really great custard. Okay, cool. But if you're always doing it every single day and going for that option, there is something wrong that maybe you should be looking at, because, how nourished are you? How much good quality is it? how is your gut? How is your energy? How is your sleep? How is your body composition results? What do you really feel like inside? What's your skin like? Your skin is a good reflection of what's happening in your gut too. There's a lot of things that I would consider, and just packaged and processed food isn't our thing here. So we'll always give you the truth on our perspective. Yeah. And then is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. We appreciate you being here and listening to episode 2. We hope that this episode gives you some knowledge and some empowerment towards making some better, healthier decisions in food. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to email us at helloladiesatlift@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at LTL_Melbourne. And our website is www.ladiesatlift.com.au. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.